Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to dive into another career deep dive with us today.
Absolutely. Always excited to jump into these.
Well, today we're tackling a career that's, well, it's about keeping things running, keeping the gears turning, literally. We're talking about industrial maintenance supervisors, and we've got a ton of info from RoleCatcher to help us break it all down.
It's a good one. A vital role in so many industries.
Right. And when I hear industrial maintenance supervisor, I kind of picture, I don't know, maybe it's outdated, but like greasy overalls, a big wrench, that kind of thing.
Oh, there's definitely still some of that hands-on work involved, but it's a lot more than just wrenches these days.
Okay, so for those of us who might have that old school image in mind, what does an industrial maintenance supervisor actually do in today's world?
So think of them as the problem solvers, the ones who make sure everything in a factory or industrial setting runs smoothly.
Okay, so keeping the machines happy.
Exactly. When a machine breaks down, they're the ones who figure out why, fix it, and get things up and running again as quickly and safely as possible.
So it's high pressure then, high stakes.
It can be, especially in industries where downtime means lost production and lost money.
Got it. So definitely not for the faint of heart. Now, Rollcatcher gave us a bunch of specifics about the work environment. Can you paint us a picture of what it's really like?
Sure. Think manufacturing plants, factories, industrial settings. It can be noisy. There might be safety hazards. You'll probably need to wear protective gear.
Right, so not your typical office job.
Definitely not.
And physically demanding, too, I imagine.
Absolutely. You're going to be on your feet a lot, walking, standing, maybe lifting heavy things. And the temperatures can vary depending on the environment.
So you need to be pretty tough to handle all that, both physically and mentally.
Resilience is key, that's for sure. And it's not just about the machines. You'll be interacting with a lot of different people, too.
Oh, right. Like who?
Well, you'll be working with management, of course, but also with your fellow technicians, maybe outside contractors, even regulators.
So good communication skills are a must-have then.
Absolutely. Being able to clearly explain problems, solutions, and instructions is crucial.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about what they do and where they do it, but what about the pros and cons of this career path?
Well, job security is a big one. As technology advances, industries will always need skilled maintenance professionals to keep things running.
That's always reassuring to hear, especially these days. What about salary?
The pay is generally good, and employers recognize the value that experienced maintenance supervisors bring to the table.
Okay, so job security, good pay, those are definitely points in the pro column. But I'm guessing there are downsides too, right? Rollcatcher mentioned a few.
Yeah, they did. They mentioned the physical demands, which we kind of touched on, and also the long hours, maybe working shifts, being on call, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's not a typical 9 to 5 job, that's for sure. And they also mentioned the need to stay updated on technology, which is constantly changing in this field.
Right, you've always got to be learning something new.
Exactly. Keeps things interesting. One thing Rollcatcher kind of glossed over was specializations, which is a shame because there's some really cool ways to specialize within industrial maintenance.
Oh, really? I thought it was just like industrial maintenance supervisor and that's it.
Nope, there's a lot more to it. For example, you can specialize in electrical systems, become an expert in troubleshooting complex circuits or maintaining high voltage equipment.
So basically become the go-to electrician for the whole factory.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or you could specialize in hydraulics and pneumatics, the systems that power heavy machinery.
Hydraulics.
Yeah.
Pneumatics. Okay, now you're just using big words to make me feel dumb. What do those even mean?
Sorry. To put it simply, hydraulics use liquids like oil to transmit power. Think excavators or those big construction cranes.
Okay, I get it. Like when you see those machines moving those huge arms and stuff.
Exactly. And pneumatics use gases, usually air, to do the same thing. Think about the air brakes on a bus, for instance.
Okay, that makes sense. So besides becoming an electrical whiz or a hydraulics guru, are there other ways to specialize?
Definitely. One area that's really exploding right now is robotics maintenance. With more and more factories using robots, there's a huge demand for people who know how to keep them running smoothly.
Robotics maintenance. Okay, now that's what I'm talking about. That sounds incredibly cool.
It's definitely cutting edge stuff, and it's only going to become more important in the future.
So let's say someone's interested in this and becoming an industrial maintenance supervisor, maybe even specializing in something like robotics. What kind of education and skills do they need? Did Rollcatcher give us the lowdown on that?
They did. Interestingly, they didn't specify any hard and fast education requirements.
Really? So you don't necessarily need like a 4-year degree to get into this field?
It seems that way. While a formal engineering degree is always valuable, RoleCatcher's analysis suggests that hands-on experience might be even more important in this line of work.
So real-world experience trumps the fancy degree.
It seems that way. At least it can get your foot in the door. Now, they did mention a bunch of essential skills.
Like what?
Well, the usual suspects. Management skills, monitoring, reading comprehension, critical thinking. You know, the basics.
Makes sense. But I'm guessing there are some less obvious skills that are important too, right?
You bet. One that stood out to me was social perceptiveness.
Social perceptiveness. Okay, I'm not sure I follow. That sounds more like something you'd need in a therapist's office, not on a factory floor. What's that all about?
It might seem a little out of place, but it's actually super important. Remember, you're not just managing machines, you're managing people, working in teams, dealing with all sorts of personalities.
So you need to be able to read people, sense if there's a problem brewing.
Exactly. Being able to understand and respond to people's emotions is key to building a cohesive and productive team. You know, resolving conflicts, creating a positive work environment, all that good stuff.
Wow, I never would have thought of that. It's like they say it's all about people skills. Okay, so you've got the skills, you're socially savvy, and you're ready to land that industrial maintenance supervisor job. What's next? Did RoleCatcher offer any advice on breaking into this field?
They did, and they stressed the importance of, you guessed it, gaining experience. We're talking internships, volunteering for maintenance tasks, maybe even taking an entry-level position just to get your foot in the door.
So don't be afraid to start at the bottom and work your way up.
Exactly. Every bit of experience counts. And speaking of things that count, consider getting certified. RoleCatcher mentioned a few certifications that could give you a leg up.
Like what? Give me the acronyms.
Well, there's the CMRP, which stands for Certified Maintenance and Reliability Professional.
Okay, that sounds impressive, but what is it exactly?
Basically, it's all about optimizing equipment reliability and maintenance processes. You know, making sure those machines are running smoothly and minimizing downtime.
Makes sense. What was that other one?
The CMM, or Certified Maintenance Manager.
And that one's geared toward,
As you might guess, managing maintenance operations. It covers things like leadership skills, strategic planning, financial management.
so basically all the skills you need to run the show.
Pretty much.
Okay, so these certifications, they're like a way to level up your credentials, show employers you're serious about this career path.
Exactly. It's proof that you've gone above and beyond to develop your skills and knowledge. Plus, it makes your resume stand out in a sea of applicants.
Right, because who doesn't love a good certification? It's like a stamp of approval. But even with the skills, the experience, and the certifications, you've still got to ace that interview. Did RoleCatcher give us any hints about what to expect?
They did. They have a whole database of potential interview questions that you might encounter.
So you're saying I should start practicing my answers to what's the difference between preventative and predictive maintenance right now?
It wouldn't hurt. But seriously, having well-thought-out answers to those tough questions can really make a difference.
Totally. Preparation is key. Now, besides those scary interview questions, RoleCatcher also gave us a glimpse into the potential career paths for industrial maintenance supervisors.
They had those example career profiles, right? What did those look like?
They're pretty interesting. You might start as an entry-level technician, getting your hands dirty, learning the ropes.
Right, paying your dues?
Exactly. And then as you gain experience, you could move into a supervisory role, leading a team, taking on more responsibility.
So room for growth, which is always good to know.
Absolutely. You could even climb the ladder to senior management positions like maintenance manager or even director of operations. Wow, from fixing machines to running the whole show. Okay, so this deep dive has been, I've got to say, pretty eye-opening. We've covered everything from the ins and outs of the job to the surprising importance of social skills and even the potential to climb the career ladder. Is there anything else we missed?
I think we hit all the major points. You know, it's just really cool to see how this field is evolving, becoming more high-tech all the time.
Absolutely. Well, before we wrap up, I always like to ask our expert for their final takeaway, the one thing they really want our listeners to remember from this deep dive. So what's yours?
That's a good one. I think it's that industrial maintenance is about more than just fixing things. It's about problem solving, critical thinking, being a leader, and always, always learning.
I love it. Lifelong learning for the win.
It's true. The technology is always changing, so you've got to be willing to adapt and keep learning.
Couldn't agree more. Well, on that note, it's time for us to power down for today. A huge thank you to you, our expert, for sharing all your insights. And to our listeners, we hope this deep dive has inspired you to explore the world of industrial maintenance. And until next time, keep those gears turning.